Thunder, I'm not gonna make it. I can't keep going.
Yes, you will. We're going to be fine.
Thunder!
Flash!
Spoiler alert, she's fine. She falls into water and swims to safety, defying all logic because she was created by an 8-year-old who needed to be the center of every story. When I was a kid, I did some of the normal recess activities like hopscotch, jump rope, and even some basketball, but only because I was taller than most of my class. But for the most part, I played imagination games with a couple of friends, especially my best friend at the time. She and I made up characters and intricate stories every day and continued them whenever we could. Were these stories any good? Probably not. They were made by small children. I had a blast with them though, and I still remember a lot of the characters today. They're very silly, classic little characters, but for the sake of my nostalgia, I want to revisit them now. First up, we have the two you've already met, Thunder and Flash. Naturally, they're Mustangs, a la Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. Thunder was the character my friend played. I cannot honestly tell you if Thunder was male or female, but for the sake of forcing Quinn into voice acting, I made him a stallion, or a boy horse. From what I remember, he's a tall black stallion, brave and thoughtful. Flash is a Palomino mare, or a girl horse. She is brash, but a friend to everyone. Her full name is Flash with a Dash, because naturally she was super duper fast. Because she's a horse, and she has to be the greatest at everything. These two were placed in several different unrelated stories of adventure. I don't remember everything they did. Most of it involved running, and despite Flash being the one who was supposed to be fast, my friend who played Thunder outran me every time. The next duo are characters made with the same friend. We were playing on a playset at a fast food restaurant together and felt inspired to create a Pokemon story game. I played a fighting type Pokemon called Hitmonchan as she struggled to fight her way to the top of a boxing or wrestling competition. I knew nothing about the sports at the time, and I know nothing about them now. My friend played as her coach, a flying type named Talo. She also stepped in as opposing competitors during fights and different scenes in the game. Hitmonchan and Talo had rivals in Hitmonlee and Swellow. Their story never resolved, but this game was one of my favorites to play. And I always wanted to play it, and my poor friend probably was so sick of it because she always had to be the supporting cast the whole time, every single time. As we got a little older, but only a little bit, we recruited more friends to involve in our games. Allow me to introduce the lovely Mary Sue mashup of Elsa, Katara, and Starfire. Crystal. To be fair to my childhood self, Frozen hadn't even been thought up yet, and Avatar The Last Airbender hadn't aired yet. Definitely a big inspiration from Starfire from Teen Titans, though. Crystal had white hair and ice powers that sometimes evolved into water and temperature powers as she was involved in several different storylines. She was the crown princess from another planet where she wasn't special. Everyone had the same powers as her. She somehow ended up off her world to travel and adventure with several different characters. They fought monsters and made friends, and she was always one of my favorites to fall back on. I would use her in any aspect of fantasy play, like with that friend group at school or with my cousins walking around neighborhoods and just goofing off. I was always Crystal. There were several other characters that I created and played as, but my memory is not so great. I know I definitely played as a wolf, and probably a swordswoman. I was really into dual wielding, and so I probably was a dual wielding swords person at some point. And yeah, I was a horse girl and definitely a weird kid. But I like to think that it helped boost my creative juices early in life. And I know that there are more of you out there who played these games at recess because I made you play with me, and I want to hear about your characters. Tell me about them. I want to see them in the comments. Please, feed me. Thank you. I love you. Goodbye.